They're like super smooth now, and
But like they're chunky,
They're a little clunky.
clunky. I would say.
don't know.
Yeah,
as opposed
and
to-
they've got more jank to them than iPhones.
the longevity of this. I have a Samsung S8 right now, and I think this has outlasted Carly's iPhone 8 as far as like clunkiness. Like Carly's iPhone's getting really clunky now, and I think
the Galaxy S8.
yeah, I think the
See,
Android
I've used the Galaxy S8
you've
quite a
used
bit
it
at my previous job.
and you didn't like
Not
it.
a fan.
I
No.
can agree that it used to be as clunky, but I
the
think
S10e
nowadays it's gotten a
better.
lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not only that. Like, for instance, I just bought the AirPods, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I know, right? I'm
Wait,
a
AirPods
douchebag
Pro?
wearing the AirPods. sitting
Wait a
around.
minute, hold on. AirPods Pro or AirPods Pods? Just
Oh,
regular
normal
pods.
ones. I hate the pro ones. I hate the little. I don't understand how people
no.
like the you, Sean.
No.
You have headphones that have like the little
Silicone tips.
silicons. Yeah, I just don't. For whatever reason, my ears they just do not work in my ears.
They're not for everybody. You can get foam replacements though, which a lot of people like better.
I think
it's neither. I like this classic earbud shape that you get, so that's why I got the standard pods. But I just love how I literally open that case up, put one in, boom, it's connected, done. Like I don't have
user
to.
experience
I don't have to
Apple has
think about
crafted is pretty amazing.
it is a
Exactly,
really
yeah.
good user experience. But honestly, I love the AirPods Pro because I think they're actually amazing because they actually do really good noise canceling and they have really good sound. The regular AirPods, though, for me, are just kind of. I've always thought they were a little bit of a ripoff. I'm not gonna lie, because they have
They're a
the
ripoff.
because they are the same sound
Sorry,
quality.
Michael, but they are.
They're the
Really?
same sound quality of the earbuds that come in the box. They're just wireless, and they have the convenience factor. But
No, they're a little
better.
bit better.
I don't have the.
They're
I have the
okay.
second or third gen, whatever.
third gen's
ones they
the
are.
most recent, and I know they did a sound quality improvement based from the second gen to the third gen. But for everyone who owned the first and second gen, I was like, guys, this is like you can get as good of a sound quality. I'm pretty sure from like $40 headphones.
Well, okay, so here's something because now
That's what the critics say, Sean.
audio quality is pretty near and dear to my heart.
We know.
It is.
With the AirPods, you're paying for convenience.
Yes,
That's exactly what I'm paying for.
but
so I
but
don't
you're
have to deal
paying
with
like
the wires.
and that makes it
$100
worth
for
it,
convenience.
if that's what you're paying for. But I wouldn't get them because they're not. I could get better fidelity for the price elsewhere.
yeah.
Totally
Usually,
agree.
That's
I just love the convenience factor of them because
Yeah.
for me, I don't give a fuck about too much
there's nothing
about
wrong with
quality.
that. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm like frankly, I'm not.
We
I'm
know
not,
you don't care about quality. You
I'm
watch
not
your
an
stuff
audiophile.
on a screen this big.
Exactly. Yeah,
Got
I'll watch my
4K.
anime on my fucking iPhone screen.
Yeah.
And I've got the oldest phone here, right? I've got an iPhone 10.
I guess so.
Well,
I don't know
my
when the 10
S8
came out
is
compared to the
technically,
8.
I think, older. It's an older design, but I've owned it less time than you've owned your iPhone 10, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. It works for me, and I bet the quality on them, but is probably not the greatest. I definitely think it's better than earbuds quality though.
Yeah,
Well,
I would
regular earbuds, yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
can see
regular
it.
iPhone earbuds, which are already like $30. It's like what the fuck. But
Those are probably
Now-
already overpriced a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's Apple. It's going to be overpriced, which I'm actually surprised that
They used to be included, so not
Yeah.
anymore. You don't get anything with the new phones.
you don't even
Yeah.
get a charging brick.
You
Yeah.
get the cable and that's it.
They're gonna
Yeah.
go to MagSafe, I think, soon. They're gonna take out the charging port altogether. That's like the next move.
Really?
And just do
I
the
think-
contact charging.
I think they're gonna do the MagSafe technology.
It's the only way I charge it, honestly, is with the MagSafe.
Oh, really?
But the port is very useful when I'm traveling. That's the only time I use the
Yeah.
port.
Well, the thing is, I like, even though removing the headphone jack does suck, and I still like it. At least you have a wired connection to headphones with the charging port, and then if, of course, they take out the charging port, then you have to have Bluetooth headphones, right?
Yeah.
Which is the only kind of bummer. I don't know if that's gonna be something we can easily get over or not.
I'm only wireless nowadays. I don't have any sort of wires with my headphones, and that changed.
Are you sure
my
about
life.
that? You have wired headphones in right now.
These are because I can't do audio pass through from the mic to my
Yep.
I can't I can't pass the audio through. Right? This is directly connected to my mic.
Yeah.
Still, you've
But,
got wired headphones in, Sean.
I meant for my phone, dude. Just like
the other
obviously you
90%.
can't get
giving you
wired
shit.
anywhere now.
I'm just giving you
Like,
shit.
for the phone. It's wireless. And it's I don't know. I think especially with the improvements to Bluetooth, we're on Bluetooth like 6, I think now, maybe even 7.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of bandwidth you can push through them is not the bottleneck in terms of audio quality.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. For whatever reason, I use my wired connection a lot. I mean, I use it for my computer set right now, but even for my phone, I'll typically wire in. Interestingly enough, I don't really know why.
It does mean something less you need to charge.
Yeah.
That is a pro.
It's just because I have the wired connection, I just use it. So it's just how I've always kind of done it. So
yeah, I haven't even invested in
have
wireless.
recently thought of getting an Apple Watch.
I think that's
You've thought about getting an Apple Watch.
I think they're a good product. I think they're like the best smartwatch.
I would agree that they're the best smartwatch. And for a long time, and I haven't gotten one previously because I'm not a huge watch person, although I do like watches. But the cost was too much.
It's a lot.
And now there's actually a really good range of cost. Like there's their, $400 one, $400 or $500, and their cheapest I think is $200.
Okay.
Which is at the price or lower than other smartwatches on the market.
Yeah.
So
a nice
really,
smartwatch.
the price isn't the barrier now. I mean, it still is, but
what's the draw of a smartwatch? Like, frankly, I don't really see much of the draw of smartwatch besides activating my Duo notifications since we use Duo for work. It's like, I just want to be able to click that instead of unlock my phone each time. It's like, click the button. That's the only reason I'd ever get a smartwatch.
Me, I think the draw is data. Like, because I love data. I love gathering data about me and my life or anything. And the smartwatches, especially the Apple ones, are very much like data, like health data gathering oriented. So I would always know my historical heart rate, or there's a default app that tracks noise. So it'll let you know if you're in an area that's been in like a high noise count and when that was, and the current like ambient noise. I just love that stuff. So, and there's and speaking of the killing my phone battery by tracking the how I sleep, that you can get the app thing on the phone that will just do that without using extra battery, because it's always tracking the heart anyway, and it can use that to interpret how restful sleep is and stuff like that.
So Apple knows what your heart rate's at all times of the day.
As long as you're wearing the watch.
I was going to say, Sean's answering a very good interview question. Apple, he's like interviewing for Apple. Like, so why do you want to work for Apple? He's like, well, I love data. You're hired. You're hired. That's all we need to say.
Data on everyone.
I think that stuff is interesting. Also, the ability to like quickly check notifications, things like that, is not something I'm going for, but it can be useful. I wouldn't use it for mainly I use it as a watch, just like a data gathering thing.
So when you actually look at your watch or look at your arm this time, you're actually checking a watch instead of just looking at your arm.
Yeah. Just guessing. I just know.
Yeah. I honestly,
the only thing is I don't know how long the battery lasts. I want to say it's like a 2-day battery, right?
Yeah, I think Carly has one and it's like a 2-day battery, I think. It goes for a while.
Sounds fine to me. It sounds like acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really about determining each night.
Yeah, but if I'm wearing it to sleep to measure, then I can't do that.
Yeah.
So,
you can plug yourself in because it's got a lightning cord on it, right?
I get a UV or
right.
IV. And that's what
IV,
it is.
yeah.
I mean, it would be like that.
I don't know. So I was just thinking about that recently. Like, what if I got an Apple Watch? And then it's really just about determining the screen size you want, because that's really where the cost is.
Right.
Is how big the screen is. So I think I need to go to an Apple store and look at them all and
try them on. Yeah.
How they feel.
The only worry I have with going to Apple, like going to an iPhone 13 is, I don't think I have a lot of paid apps on my Android phone, but migrating, like I feel like I'm going to get the new phone and then like start using it. And all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I paid for that app on Android, but now I don't have it. And I really don't want to repay for it. I don't know a lot of examples where that's been the case, but I feel like that's just going to happen. Like,
and here's the thing:
I paid for very few apps.
you can always try it for a couple of years, and it's like you'll still have the Google Play account with all the linked data and all those things purchased saved. So it's not like it's lost into the void forever.
I mean, are you going to sell your current phone, or are you going to
I'll
keep
probably keep it as a backup because I've broken a phone too many times to not have a backup. So this will stay with me as a backup, and hopefully the 13 will last a long time. Hopefully it does last another 3 years at least. That'd be nice. But then I get to make a real decision on, Apple or Android. I really don't want to get sucked into the Apple ecosystem. That's the other thing. I don't want to. I want to be independent. Independent
For me,
that.
phones are about like a 4-year, 4-year life cycle.
That's like really, really good. Like so many people out there will get a phone every year, and I just can't. I can't.
It's too much.
I can't.
I can't afford that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
B, it lasts for quite a while now. So
they do. They should be. Phones should be like really built to last 3 years now. I honestly wish the main thing of phone companies would be to not release a new phone every year, but like do it every 2 years, because we'd get a lot better implementation of software and
like graphics
hardware.
cards do it every 2 years.
Well, the thing is with it, the thing that wears out the quickest in phones most often is just the battery.
Yeah.
If you have an ability to replace the battery, your phone can last a very long time.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think the only thing that really I have issues with besides the battery is going to be like sometimes, once you've had a couple OS updates, especially with like Apple, it's like, okay, if you're 3 gens behind, then the latest OS tends to bog down both the storage, the memory, and the processor a bit, and kind of slows it down.
But I think that
glitchy, which is
it does, but it also that is also relating to battery, because as the battery ages, it decreases the clock speed of the processor. So if you replace the battery, then it's essentially brand new, and you get as if like a fully working phone. And Apple did do that for a while, and they had a lawsuit against them. So it's known that happens. You just have to get and that's why they have their battery replacement program now. So and it's a lot cheaper.
Are you?
Because last time I checked, there's like $300 something to replace a battery on an iPhone.
No, it's like $40.
Yeah, I'm saying like on my old one, I haven't had to replace the battery, since I got this new phone. Yeah. All right. Well, we kind of had our intro already, but welcome to
couple false starts.
Yeah, right. Well, welcome to Almost a Podcast. Your host for today is yours truly.
Which
Mike.
one is he? Can you tell yet, audience? Do you know our voices?
Yeah, I can probably tell which by my voice, by my scuff
We
voice.
could have new people this episode. You never know.
Yeah.
Full
Yep.
intro.
Got to
Full
make
send.
sure to keep them all.
And I'm joined by my 2 lads, Colton and Sean.
Hi, gamer
That's
lad.
me.
I'm gamer
I almost
lad.
choked on my beer.
What you drinking?
Iron Rooster Imperial IPA. It's quite
Dang.
good.
It's like
I'm actually
9%.
liking it.
Wow.
Usually they like Imperial Stouts. What, did I say IPA?
Yeah, you did.
You said
Wow,
you
that's
said like
Imperial
IPA,
IPA.
stout or something. Yeah, I was
Gosh,
like, oh, that's
that's
a thing.
That's harsh. Well, I'm halfway through it, so
Yeah.
Imperial Stout, 9%. It's really good. Usually, a lot of stouts, like Imperial Stouts, they have a really high malt factor, which makes them really bitter. But not this one. I think this is actually a very smooth Imperial IPA. Stout.
keep saying it.
Darn it.
Imperial IPA. Yeah, what the heck? What are you doing? Do you even
I
drink
don't
beer?
drink many Imperial IPAs either. I don't even think that's a thing.
Gosh, I
Guy-
drank my first flight in a long time last week. I don't know if you guys saw me checking in on Untapped and tagging you guys, but I had quite the selection of beers. I haven't had a flight of beer in so long.
Me neither. I think about it.
It makes
Yeah.
me so tipsy. I was like, I'm gonna drive
I
home.
don't go out much.
I want to drive home, and then I get a flight, and I'm like, oh, nope, that's not happening. And this place's flight had 6 beers I could have. 6. It's good.
That's more than usual. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was like
That's a good flight.
It was like Women's Month beers, so I felt very, very. I should be careful about what I say next. It was very good beer. I was gonna try and make like a very PC joke, but I couldn't think of anything on the spot, so I'm just gonna say they were really good.
I'm so excited for our next vacation. Well, both of our next vacations, because we're all doing them both together.
Yeah.
Just to go out and and not have to worry about like getting places or having to do things the next day, you know, because even if you don't get like trashed, let's say, you can just have a one or two more beers than you would normally have, and it's a fun time, or just and just the general just relaxation away from work and things like that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the place. By the way, Colton, did you get the confirmation from the hotel?
I did get our confirmation email. Are we staying? We're staying in a nice place.
No,
we shouldn't probably say
we were staying in a nice place. But yeah, I was about to say, don't
I won't
spoil
dox
where we're
us.
staying. But yeah, we're staying in a decent place.
Super exciting.
and-
Very, very excited to do that and chill. And
I think our place has a bar, so
Yes,
That's
although it's
gonna be
probably
fun.
pricey. I mean, it'll be pricey regardless.
let me tell you what I wish I would have done when we were in Japan.
what?
I really, this is why, and now that I've, a little of my own and I have money and things like that, buying like some nicer clothes occasionally, because nice clothes are not cheap, but I want to be able to go into like a nice place and be like, yes, I will have this drink, because I really wanted to do that when we were it was the Ritz-Carlton, right?
Yep.
In
Yeah.
Tokyo.
You
They
couldn't-
had the bar at like the 50th floor. I'm like,
Oh, it was
yeah,
such a
I want to
cool
go to that
live,
whiskey bar. Like that was
live
awesome.
band.
There was,
It
like, live music.
orchestral, like a harp was playing at the Ritz
Yeah, I
Carlton.
was not dressed like I could not.
Yeah.
have
Oh, I was
done
in,
that.
like,
But if
my
you just
Japants.
sketched up a little bit.
Yeah,
I was in
you
my
guys have
Japants
seen
with a
Lost in
t-shirt.
Translation, right?
I think so.
It's got Bill Murray and what's her name? Black Widow in it when she's really young.
Really?
And yeah, that's a great show, but it gives me the exact same vibes like that place. It's a different
Show
place.
or movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
I just
Romance
show
movie, I'm assuming.
kind of. It's
Okay.
it's a kind of like them just on an existential.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Two lost souls visiting Tokyo, the young, neglected wife of a photographer and a washed-up movie star shooting a TV commercial, find an odd solace and pensive freedom to be real in each other's company away from their lives in America.
Well,
Think
so
it
it's
was a
actually
good
based in Tokyo.
It-
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's romantic, but also at the same time not a romance movie. I don't know.
Right.
More
okay.
just about their kind of existential
real.
feelings.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Cool.
Man, I just want
me
to
the same vibe.
That'd be so fun.
I still always think about when you're talking about this, right? It brought back that same memory. I think we've talked about this before, where when we were leaving that day from the Ritz, we were like, all right, packed up, and we're just in our like we're going to go flying gear, right? So we're just like in casual,
Yeah.
like super casual clothes. We're all wearing pants, I think. And like I think Sean, you got a tank top on, and we're walking through the hotel lobby, right? Like, really nice, there's
Yeah.
a marble floor,
Everyone's
stuff
in
like that.
suits,
All suits. Also, we see this essentially Arabian prince, like he's like a sheikh or something like that, with like an escort, an armed
Yeah,
escort,
he had an
with
escorted.
multiple guys, and we're like, yeah,
I
like
do remember that.
I was like,
and-
oh my
and just
gosh.
us- yeah, we're in the
You should
same
have
hotel
gone
as
up and
this
shook
guy.
his hand like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
I know we should have said
Welcome to
something.
Tokyo.
probably
I
the owner
remember
of one of those like Lamborghinis down in the garage.
I was
down
gonna
there.
say, remember the
Probably the
night
owner of
before we
all
got
of them.
lost, and then I was like, wow, Lamborghini. Hey, Sean, take a picture while I pose by the Lamborghini.
Yep.
Maybe it was the shakes.
In your garage with your Lamborghini
Yep.
in the Roppongi Hills.
Yes.
Something like that. I'm
Roppongi.
I'm just thinking of the meme.
That
Yeah.
was fun. That was fun.
I remember
was.
like the
But
day.
yeah, so I want to do that now for especially when we were in LA and Spain.
Yeah. Go to a nice
have
cocktail
that-
bar.
Have the nice cocktail bar experience.
Yeah.
I really
Are you gonna
like to do
like
that.
bring a suit and stuff like that?
Not a suit, but at least a nice button-up shirt and pants and
could do
things like that.
Well, Sean,
All
you
right.
did bring a nice button-up shirt to Japan, but it got ruined 10 minutes in to the night.
It got ruined midway through the trip.
Due
Wait,
to,
was it the Monday in Kyoto that I missed? I'm trying to.
No, we were at the curry bar.
Yeah. I think you spilled curry on
oh
yourself.
yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
I put my hands down to my lap, but it hit my fork or
Yep.
spoon or something, and it like flipped curry into my.
Such a sad day.
I do remember
It
that,
was
yeah.
his
Like,
shirt,
oh
too.
my
and there's a
I-
really
and I
nice
was already
curry bar
drunk.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like the
like,
one
gosh
day you
darn
wore
it.
your nice shirt out because you were gonna like
I know.
go to nice places and like.
I'll
oh,
make sure
man.
to
Take me anywhere.
Yeah.
right. I'll make sure to bring something nice too, like that
Yeah.
and some. I don't know.
Well, you always have stuff to dress up as. That's not your worry. It's my worry. I got to worry about like something
It's true.
nice to dress
It's true.
up
I was
as.
the guy walking around. I remember also like, gosh, there was that moment when I got interviewed for like was a YouTube or a TV show or something like that, and
It was some
we were
sort of
just walking
TV
around.
show, yeah.
TV.
Yeah, I forget which
Look at this
district.
American. Let's talk to him. Let's talk
Right,
to him.
and it's like it's me, and I was wearing like jeans and stuff like that, right? Jeans in a nice like button up, and I got Sean right next to me, cargo shorts and a MSU tank top. It's
Yeah.
like
Well, we stepped away while they
American.
were interviewing you.
It's true, yeah. No, I just thought I was like,
But yeah, I was definitely in my tank top a lot for that trip.
oh,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I mean, we'll see about LA, man. It's gonna be hella hot.
It's gonna be so hot there.
Tank top all the way. Let's
Tank
go.
top and
All right.
sunscreen, going.
Are there any people you could cosplay as who wear a tank top? I'm trying to think of any characters.
Just be
like
that
you know,
character
like,
in a
like
tank
pseudo
top.
cosplay.
From,
You know, like where it's like I'm
Yeah.
trying to, you know, get this image of someone. You know,
Isn't there
100%
like the
going in.
tank top crew in One Punch Man?
Tank top crew. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I think you're
tank
right.
top tiger and tank top.
One Punch.
Yeah, that whole crew is tank top something.
Oh my god, I have not.
Yeah.
I'm not buff enough to dress up as these guys. There's tank top master and there's tank top like the other two guys.
Yeah.
Tank top tiger, tank top master, and tank top black hole or something like that.
I'll send this to the
Have we
chat.
have we
Oh my
talked
God,
about
these guys are ripped.
have we talked about how we're going to maybe cosplay during our trip to AX?
I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast.
No, not on the podcast at least.
Okay. Well, we are. I
don't
guess
know.
we're gonna potentially.
I don't
that.
know if I am going to or can do anything.
You can.
Yeah, you
I
can.
mean,
I probably
you
could.
can.
We've
but
given you
I don't
so
know if
many
I want
ideas
to.
of characters you can cosplay as.
The only one I could do is Zeke, but I really don't want to shave my beard.
I really don't think
No,
you.
Zeke
for this
has a
event?
beard. You have to let the beard grow out longer.
Maybe.
I mean, you
have to get
could do
glasses.
Zeke. You could definitely do Zeke. You
just
could
have-
either.
I think the biggest thing would be your hair. You'd have to get like a short wig because your hair can't grow. You know, you got short hair right now, so
Zeke.
Yeah, you'd have to
can't let
grow
it
it
grow
out,
back.
or you'd have to, or just get a wig. Yeah, because I still haven't even like.
Yeah, I'd have to like brush it over
Yeah, yeah,
because he has like the part in the center.
yep.
Mhm.
We have. So are we gonna
Maybe.
Are we gonna cosplay? Because like we keep talking about it, and I don't know if we're actually serious about it. Because I should probably start buying my stuff. I would be Aaron. I'm definitely gonna be
you
Aaron.
don't need
Yeager.
to. You know, for
We
Aaron,
don't all need to.
you don't need to
just
buy
go.
a bunch of stuff.
Well,
Like
I
I'm
have to
looking
buy-
at stuff for Kazuma, so I'm looking at like tracksuits. I was looking on Amazon, and there's actually some that I could basically get, but I'm like, okay, I want to get something that's actually like kind of nice. The problem is like the nice stuff and the stuff that Kazuma like that like is close enough to Kazuma is not.
Yeah, they're not the same.
ballpark.
If
So-
you
Yeah.
Google Zeke, not 80% of the pictures are him shirtless.
Is there
Probably.
a surprise?
It's
I mean-
like his 8-pack and all of them.
If you look up Zeke cosplay, though, I wonder what people have.
Oh, okay. Let me try that.
I
See if I can
bet
do better.
you. There's some people that are just make fake beards. A lot of these people have, I think, wigs on, unless they're really artsy.
This guy's got like regular hair, so that's
I still
Yeah.
think you could pull off Kamina if you got a good enough wig.
common. Who's he from again?
Bruh, it's Gurren Lagann. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, I need a wig for that. I honestly, I'll be honest. The first time I go to the convention, I don't want to cosplay, and I'm going to be way too hot to be comfortable. So if I
true.
do any sort of
God,
cosplay,
yeah, if I
thing
did
with
wear
Zeke is you just
tracksuit,
don't
holy
go
shit.
with a shirt on. You just go shirtless. Easy.
so I need to start really working out right now
Yeah.
if I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. I mean, you're already halfway there with the abs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely flat. There's no
You're
stomach.
flat.
Yeah. But
You have
that
no
gives you the
boobs. No,
opportunity.
like, I
if you
need
need
to
to
have-
enhance the definition, you can do that. You can make that work. There are ways to do this.
Paint.
Yeah, paint. The thing for me is if I'm Aaron, I wanted to get the eye detail things, his little
Oh, yeah,
Titan,
like the darken. Yeah.
Yeah, like not scars, but the little things around his eyes. That's
Oh,
all I
like
do.
the lines when he's get pulled out of the Titans.
Yeah, like the
Titan,
lines.
Titan stress.
Yeah.
You'll have to
and
just
then-
work with Carly to like get that down because
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Of the two of you, she's got better makeup experience.
Absolutely, yeah. I just get the makeup. I would like to get contacts too, but I might not go that far because that's just kind of, I don't know.
Green
putting a
contacts? Well,
Putting a contact would be weird.
you don't. Well, you've
Me.
never had to wear glasses, right? So
I've never had to wear glasses. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, contacts are.
Contacts freak me out.
Yeah, they freak me out too.
It's true. None of us are
None of us wear glasses.
glasses wearers.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm a perfect specimen. I
Yeah,
don't-
2020 vision. Hindsight's 2020. The future's 2020. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Ooh.
My vision
Yeah,
is 2020.
Because I've heard things of like you wear the contacts and they just like go into
your
your eye,
back,
you know,
yeah.
like, and I'm like,
I'm like,
what if they're
that
gone
doesn't sound
forever?
cool. Yeah,
That sounds
sounds
terrifying.
awful. But Sean, all you need is like those circle glasses that Zeke wears in the anime, and I think people would get it pretty fast, especially with your beard. With maybe like
If I have a tan coat on, I think it'd be pretty.
yeah,
pretty
it would be
obvious,
pretty
but,
obvious. I think, even if you didn't
Yep.
get the hair perfect or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think
So-
of. I just
I
look.
could part down the middle and have like a little bit more hair, but I don't. And it is short. I did cut it short recently, so.
Yeah.
But by the time the convention rolls around, it'd be probably a good length for that.
Yeah. Wait. What about? You could do this. You'd have to get a goatee. What about Askeladd from? You've seen Vinland Saga, right?
Is it from Vinland?
I don't think so.
Askeladd sounds like a really Sigma male name.
He is.
Sounds incredibly
Askeladd.
Sigma male.
The lad is capitalized.
Yeah,
Dude, he
yeah.
is though. He's pretty awesome. He's,
Oh yeah, I could see that. He has a widow's peak, so that works.
yep.
Okay.
Oh, this guy looks pretty Sigma.
Askeladd.
Just look up like best moments sometime of Askeladd. It's pretty great.
Is he a villain? Or is he
Yesent. He killed the main guy's dad. Spoiler. Sorry, I should just put spoiler on there if you haven't seen it.
Well,
but
that's
Fuck,
the show is like 2 or 3 years old, so yeah,
That doesn't
Yeah.
matter in anime.
yeah. But
that's- yeah.
so yeah, he killed the main guy's dad, but he also ends up like becoming a father figure in a lot of ways because basically the main guy basically joins his crew in order to eventually duel him to the death and to like get strong and stuff like that and duel the guy to death. And yeah, so he ends up becoming a pseudo father figure in the same sort. So
Huh.
he's like an anti-hero in a lot of ways. Or
Dang, this guy looks pretty cool.
Yeah, he
yeah.
does look pretty
Yeah,
cool.
he's like villain.
That is closer to your like current hair length, so that's something you could do for sure.
yeah, the only thing would be
and
You could get like a sword too. Yeah. You
yeah,
have to get
the only thing
the armor.
I'd say would be the connect. Is you gotta let it grow out, your beard grow out for the connect.
well, see, my right side has never really connected. It's really the left side that could connect, but the right side has never quite done that.
Yeah, if you let it grow out enough, you can like pseudo do it. It's not the same, but I mean you could be Reiner too.
Reiner, I could probably do.
Yeah, but you'd have to shave the beard again. Well, actually, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Not anymore. Because he has a beard
Yeah,
now.
he's got like just a light.
Oh,
Light
it's
beard.
true. It's like little sparse, little baby sparse beard.
If I'm Aaron, I have
Reiner.
to find like all the other Titan characters and take pictures with them. That would be so funny.
That would be dope. I mean, Colton, you definitely of the three of us, you could pull off Aaron pretty easily.
Aaron, just because of the bun, I could put it in the bun, the hair up.
And you actually have a very similar like facial structure to him.
Yeah, like it's decently
you
similar.
think
at
Colton
least.
looks like an anime boy?
I'd love to look like an anime boy.
Well, his eyes are too small.
Yeah, my eyes need to be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah,
yeah,
his
no,
would
it's-
be
I see
really simple because he wears like just. I could almost get away with joggers or something for his pants.
He wears basically. I think he wears like essentially like
Just a black coat,
Slacks.
black shirt,
Yeah,
and
like baggy pants.
like
not
a
that,
slacks,
not
a baggy,
that,
a baggy zip up shirt ish thing, and then like a
Yeah.
black shirt V neck or something. So it would be
okay.
really
In the
easy.
paths, let's see. He basically has essentially a hoodie and like slacks, and that's basically what he's wearing.
Yeah, it's like really easy. Yeah,
I'm
it's a hoodie
I'm
without
looking
a
at
shirt.
the photo of him like throwing the throwing the coat on when he's got. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to get an 8-pack too because Aaron's
Yeah,
rocking
an 8-pack would really help.
Oh, Vinland Saga has a season 2 coming out. Interesting. I don't know if you knew this, Michael.
I didn't. I'm glad to hear that.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw my text earlier, but part 3 was confirmed for Attack on Titan.
Yep. Part 3. They're milking that franchise. They're milking it. They're getting-
2023.
2023. Okay, so they're not
Yep.
doing a movie. That's cool. All right.
Not doing a movie, full anime, full season, I imagine, but
That really sucks.
which I
because-
kind of like. I kind of
Okay.
prefer that way, but I thought this was gonna be the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
This is
But you
supposed
think
to be the
you
final
think one more
season.
season would finish it, Michael?
one more part would finish it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what they're doing, I think. So
Do you think they could have just finished the entire show though in this last season? They just moved really
God,
slow.
It-
Oh, really?
I mean-
Because
I mean-
thought that they were moving just really slow because they had like 20-ish episodes. Well,
you gotta take your time.
That you do.
Yeah, but-
Okay, think about Game of Thrones. Okay, this is kind of one of the part of the topics I want to talk about. But think about Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones, they went, all right, we're gonna go super fast in the last 2 seasons, and it absolutely just, I mean, plus
Yeah,
a lot
They
of
could
other
have had another
things.
2 seasons probably.
sure.
Yeah, it,
Or 1 or 2 more seasons.
It really destroyed the series, right? And so you want to like take it slow.
I guess so. It just seemed like they went at a faster pace the previous 3 seasons, and to me, it felt like they were milking it a little bit. But then again, yeah, I'd rather that than them rush it. If they
But there's
had to
also a
rush
lot of content. Like think about this,
Yeah.
right? There.
for sure.
So the 4th season, right? So seasons 1 through 3, right? Which in reality are like, because you had, let's see, season 1 was 25 episodes, season 2 was 12,
12.
13, and
Yeah.
then season 3 was
22.
22. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a 2-parter.
4 is 28. That's a super weird style.
Or is it
Normally
28?
they're all 24 or 25. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Season 4 was 28 episodes.
Yeah.
So weird.
So like the first 3 seasons, right? That covers, which is like what, 60 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
Just doing quick math. That covers like just less than 100 chapters, and there's another about 45 chapters after that.
After the
So-
season, after like that, we still have to see.
No, after season 3. So we've
Okay.
seen 2/3 of it, but there's still another third of
Another
those.
third
There's
of the
still like 10
chapter.
chapters to make.
Okay,
So-
so
Very
it's
much
like
like Sword
legitimately
Art.
a season of anime. Like 10 chapters is basically a season, or like a
Yeah.
whatever part.
Yeah, whatever they fucking call it now.
Yeah,
This part thing is getting out of hand. It was getting out of hand back in like what, when was it?
Now there are 4 of
Hunger
them.
Games or whatever was the first one.
Yeah.
Like one of the
They
first
really-
series to do that.
they
and
really just
Harry
need to
Potter
release-
did that.
Yeah, they need to just say, hey, well, I
call it
guess
another
how else are
season.
you gonna do
Yeah.
it? Just call it like season 5 and season 6. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, so it depends because like because currently seasons generally are defined in a certain amount of episodes.
Yeah,
Yet not every arc of a story can fit within that predefined number of seasons.
mm-hmm.
So we need to figure out a way to establish like parts make sense if it's the same arc, So like season 4, part 1, 2, 3, let's
Yeah.
say. But or you could change it so a season is an arc. So a season doesn't necessarily have to be 12 episodes. It could be like 28, like
Yeah,
Attack
or-
on Titan has done.
or however many they want to be the season. I don't know.
And I feel like that's just a rule
the
of how like
season-
television slots
I feel,
are
I
fit
feel like
in,
the season system just makes sense because it's like, okay, it's defined like 12 to 15 episodes, right, per quote unquote season.
But that doesn't always work for the story,
That's fine. You can just do 2 seasons of one arc. Plenty of shows do that.
Yeah. Attack on Titan's
I
basically,
guess so.
they're basically
It
just doing
it
like
just feels odd.
Yeah, they're doing like time skip. All right, it's all one season, and we're just gonna name it part 1, 2, and 3. That's just how they're doing it. But
Who am I? I'm not director
Who
of
am I?
all
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
as long as you don't think they're milking it, Mike, I guess you would know the best since you actually have the knowledge of all the content has happened and has yet to happen.
I'm glad that they slowed it down because
Okay, well, that's
like,
good.
If they had rushed to the
too.
ending, I think it would not have the same impact.
Okay, that's good. That's pretty good. I'm glad to hear that, actually.
I agree. And I've not even seen it. That's how I prefer to take times and stories. If it's a story that needs the time and consideration, you should take the time and consideration.
And also,
Yeah.
there's like no filler. That's the thing. Is like, okay, you have like
There's
something
no
like a show
filler
like
in Attack on
Naruto.
Titan.
It's like, okay, you have these filler episodes. Like, okay, what?
You have
what
filler
are you doing?
seasons.
And that's filler. Exactly, filler seasons. And it's like that's not the point of the story. It's just
Right.
That's the money making thing. Of
That's
like, you're
the
basically just
milking that's annoying,
putting-
yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Attack on Titan, there's no every moment has, well, maybe not every moment, but like 80% of the moments have like draw, right? Because like for instance,
Yeah, but wait.
We'll wait for next podcast to actually talk about the past 2 seasons or 2 parts of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
But, because we have still yet to watch the latest episode.
Yep.
Although we're doing that after
And
we're
that's-
done recording. We're gonna see
Exactly,
the latest
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I
It's
do.
the last
I have
episode
some.
of this part.
Yeah, I have some stuff I do want to talk about eventually with the show. But yeah, we can wait. We'll wait until we've fully seen part 2 of the final season.
Dose.
Yeah, because I'm not waiting 2 or a year and a half, 2 years to wait. Watch another fucking
Yeah,
to talk about Attack on Titan. Like,
yeah,
that's
we can
just
talk about we can talk about it once the next in the future, I guess.
That's me, right? I think me. So I'll lead an Attack on Titan spoiler cast. if you will.
Spoiler cast.
Yeah. Spoiler cast. Change the name. Put like a little cross out, and it's like almost a spoiler cast.
Almost a spoiler cast. We're not an anime podcast.
We're not. I mean, how often do we talk about anime? I mean, we sometimes talk
Every
about
other
it with,
episode.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's usually referenced at least once in some way in every episode. Not that it's a bad thing. We just like anime, guys. I mean, who doesn't like anime?
Yeah.
These days, you're a loser now if you don't like.
Now
anime.
you're a cool kid if you like.
Yeah,
anime,
now you're
so
someone
I think
cool.
it's-
Like
Actually,
you
though,
respect
it's-
culture.
It's been fun, like just talking with people, like even people in like different parts, especially like people who aren't like, like in cities and stuff like that. Like I'll just meet people like from the country. And it's like, oh, you like anime? What? And it's so cool, just like kind of having that almost instant connection, and it's so popular now.
Yeah.
I was at work the other day, and I have like a cycling of wallpapers for when at work. Mm-hmm. Not as large as the collection I have on my personal computer, but like 30 to 40 or so wallpapers. And they're all usually kind of they're all work
Appropriate
/ like they. Yeah, like I don't have like a bunch of anime stuff.
Yeah.
On my work, but I do have like some low key anime ones. Like I have the clock, or like not the clock, but the in Steins Gate, the tubes with the numbers that indicate what Dixie they're in.
Yep.
Yeah, the Dixie tube things. I have that as one of my wallpapers, like a really nice rendering of the Dixie tubes with the prime timeline number on it.
Right.
And one of them, like a coworker of mine, was like in my cube area and saw that because the screen was blank and just the wallpaper. He's like, is that a significant number? And I'm like, how do I explain this?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's from like a time travel show, and very rudimentary explanation of like that's the number for the proper timeline.
Yeah.
And this is like an older guy, probably in his 50s.
Yeah.
And I said it's the show Steins Gate. I've never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it explained the time thing a little bit. And he's like, oh, so similar to like Loki. And I'm like, that's actually a very similar similar way to explain Steins Gate. It's very similar to Loki.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's stuff like that where it's like kind of
I think I've told you guys that kind of similar situation. Coworker of mine, I saw he had a Captain Levi sticker on his water bottle, and we were chatting. He's a dev. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I love Attack on Titan." And we started just like chatting like the entire day about Attack on Titan, in between like meetings and stuff like that. And it was cool. His kids started watching it, and then he's like, "Oh, this is actually a really good show." And he like bought a bunch of stickers and shit. And so he has like this giant pile of stickers still sitting like by his desk of like, "Oh, these are a bunch of Attack on Titan characters." Some of them are like, and Levi, Aaron, stuff like that. And so it was kind of cool. I picked up a couple.
I think that the type of media that we have nowadays, Loki, a lot of Marvel stuff, like powers and things like that are very common nowadays in today's media, and everyone has at least heard of it or watched a show similar to it.
Mm-hmm.
to the point where if someone had watched an anime, or like if you just explain the plot without saying it's an anime, it would sound almost normal to people.
Yeah.
These days,
it's the only thing left is like the stigma of anime,
right?
Yeah.
That it's a cartoon and for kids. If you don't mention anything about that and just explain the plot, people go, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool."
Yeah.
Well,
Frankly,
frankly,
because they're so used to all these new powers and things and shows and stuff.
I always found that good too. Like for instance, we were out one night at MSU. I was trying to convince someone to watch Full Metal Alchemist. I'm like, if you like Avatar, because they're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender, I'm like, FMA is just Avatar, but like by slightly different, right?
Yeah, it's a little darker.
almost-
It's like a tween show.
It's got the
instead of a
same
kid's show.
It's got the same vibe. Avatar is pretty dark. I've actually been rewatching it recently, and that's been fun.
It gets dark, yeah.
But FMA is kind of just Avatar: Last Airbender. It's got the same kind of, I think, very stylistically the same. You'll have like very dark moments, and they do like the chibi levitiness, and it's like, all right,
Especially if in English, and that's a really good show to watch in English.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what
also,
I would tell people
funny
like
story.
Avatar. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Yeah, funny story, Sean, is you're talking about the wallpaper thing. That reminded me of a moment when I was first at MSU. We had a software called it was something like display monitor or something like that. It basically allowed you to do multiple monitors, same wallpaper, and like have a wallpaper like shuffle and stuff like that. And I was really into The Witcher at the time, right? And so I'm like, so I just played Witcher 3. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get like Witcher content. So I downloaded a Witcher like pack of wallpapers, but I forgot to browse through the Witcher pack.
Yeah,
and it contained the Playboy photos for Triss Marigold. You remember those like additions to The Witcher 2, I think it was Witcher 2 or 3, whatever it was.
Oops.
And fortunately, I didn't get caught, except for one of my coworkers. He was like, dude, you better check your wallpaper. And I look over it and just see like basically half naked Triss. Like, I'm like, oh shit. That's not good. Fortunately, no manager or anything like that was around. But so I've been careful with my wallpapers from then on.
Jeez, yeah. I don't have any personalization in my work desktop. It's just like a blue screen. I don't there's nothing there.
Normal Windows background.
Yeah.
I have some pictures from like Portal, like some of the ads from Portal. That's like, if a future you tries to warn you about this test, don't listen. And
don't listen.
Some like really subtle anime stuff, and then like some Apple backgrounds.
Yeah.
Super basic stuff.
Yeah. I love that like work now, like in my work, and I may have talked about this slightly before. There's the team behind me, and they're like all anime nerds. It's like now in that group, it's uncool to not watch anime because they're like yelling across the room, and everyone can hear. They're like, "Yo, you see the ending to 86? It was phenomenal." And I'm like, and they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "It was awesome. This is amazing." And then one of the guys is like, I don't know if he's really an anime snob, but he's like super defensive. He's like, because
I hate those guys.
Well, he wasn't in a bad way. Like there was a girl, or that we have like rotation engineers that rotate into groups and stuff. So some of the new rotation engineers, it was like this classic like Starbucks girl. Is that like that's not very PC, is it? Just this random like
I don't know what that means though.
Like heavily privileged Instagram like esque, like, oh, I love my coffee, like a very stereotypical privileged girl that came in.
Classic white girl.
Yeah, classic white girl. I'm trying to be like PC about it, but I'm not. I'm doing a terrible job. And I don't know, they got into talking about shows, and she was like, oh, I watched Game of Thrones, I watched this and that, and so he started getting into like, oh, you should watch Arcane and stuff like that. Like he was like kind of teetering that level, and he got her to watch Arcane, and she's like, oh my god, it was amazing. He's like, all right, so now you should watch he's like, if you liked Arcane, you might like other Japanese or Korean inspired media, so you should watch Squid Game, and there's like this stuff called anime that you should watch. And she's like, I don't know about anime. And he was like very like to the point. He's like, what do you like? I bet you I could find an anime that you'll like. And he eventually, I think he got her to watch something like FMA or something very, very mainstream. and she's like, oh yeah, it was kind of cool. And now and then she just like watched it. I'm like,
It's the
we live in
gateway
a
drug right
society
there.
where
It
you
is.
can now do that and it's acceptable. Man, you would have
Yep.
gotten
Yeah.
so railed if you tried to do that before from like everyone around you and the person you're trying to convince to watch it. I feel like
Yeah.
it's nice to be in
Yeah.
a accepting anime world these days.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is true.
And it's just like, all right, it's just normal. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, 10 years ago, I know that, like, I wasn't super into anime, but I know that, like, there was definitely, like, the
You
kids
weren't
who
any
were-
into anime, I don't think.
I mean, I consider Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of anime. I mean, it's very anime inspired, so that's, like,
Hot
really the only
topic,
show.
but yeah.
But yeah, and so like gamers and like definitely gaming, but like back then it was like you felt so ostracized. You felt like, all right, I'm not part of this, and now it's like, oh, like this, it's cool. It's cool now.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. I wonder what I've always wondered, like what changed that stigma.
Just
like,
more-
what has
More people started watching
More
it.
people started watching it. Anime got good, I think. And I think a lot of the younger generation just like watches that stuff now.
Anime did change.
Yeah.
That's
It just-
really true. I know basically like my little cousin, he's huge anime like stuff like that, right? And we're talking, and yeah, like all of his friends, and like I think I've told this before. He's like a football player, and he's gigantic. He's like 6'3". He's 13 years old, and he's 6'3", 280 pounds, right?
Oh man.
Kids,
Oh dear.
I don't know where the genes, because
He's definitely doing
neither his
steroids.
dad nor his mom are like that, right? He's taller than both of them now.
Steroids for sure.
No, he's not jacked or anything like that. He's chunky, but
He's really tall.
So he's fat.
But he's just huge.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah. So
Even a football jock. can
exactly,
get
yeah.
anime, is what
And,
you're
like,
saying.
he's into that. So it's kind of cool. Kind of like hearing about that, or shit, like talking to people and like they've seen like Your Name back in college. Like
Yeah,
that was a huge
that was
thing.
big.
Like, even non-anime people are like, oh yeah, I've seen Your Name, and it's like it was great, and it's like a Ghibli movie or something like that, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like it hits the mainstream. I don't know.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's
mainstream consensus.
mainstream too. It's like, dude, the Demon Slayer movie was in the U.S. and then the Jujutsu Kaisen movie is in the U.S. It's like, it's wild how that's actually getting ported over and like being brought to U.S. audiences. I feel like, it's just
And
so-
it's like in theaters for a long time.
Yeah,
like
I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen was-
the new Jujutsu Kaisen movie's been in theaters for at least 3 weeks.
yeah, and it was like number 2 movie in the U.S. for like a slight, just a small amount of time.
Usually anime movies are only here for a weekend.
Yeah. And it's like at a couple theaters. Like only like you wouldn't
Yeah.
see that near me. You would have seen that near the college campuses. Now
Yeah.
it's like
Speaking
everywhere.
of, you guys both saw it, right?
yeah,
I haven't yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to watch it. You guys should both watch it. It's pretty good.
Well, I didn't see. My theaters around here, they don't like project too far into the future, so I wasn't sure if I could see it next weekend, last weekend.
Yeah.
But then this weekend rolled around, and it was still going, so I thought, I'd see it this weekend, but I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's still in theaters next weekend, in which case I can go see it. There's 2 showings a day, so
yeah. Try to
Are
go
they at
see
night
the
at all? Just go out after work.
1:30 and like 6.
Yeah, just go after work.
Yeah. Try to
Yeah,
see
and if like Wednesday rolls up and it's not available on Saturday, then I'll probably just go after work.
Yeah. I would try to see it in like the sub too. I think dub is fine. They do it dubbed and subbed,
Oh,
but
I'm seeing subs.
sometimes theaters don't post it. It was like really hard for me to find a place that played it in subbed. Because I'd call them and it'd say it had like 2 show times, and one would be subbed, one would be dubbed, but it wouldn't tell me which one was which. So that was like an interesting.
Yeah.
Mine does.
experience.
It'll say like it has technically 4 showings, 2 in subbed and 2 in dubbed
Okay. Gotcha.
today. So
Yeah.
I do the subbed.
Also, do you guys know like how much money it made? And it's been out what for 2-3 weeks.
I don't know if it was like
'Cause-
how successful it was.
Yeah.
Was it successful?
Jujutsu.
I imagine decently so.
Yeah, maybe not as good as the.
If it's still running, then it's
yeah,
making money.
maybe not as good as like the Demon Slayer movie, but it probably did pretty well in Japanese theaters and here. Because there was
Yeah.
like 8 people that went into my theater and watched it, and it's been out for a while, so that's not bad. So
Isn't that kind of awkward though? Like when you're in a theater and there's only like a select few of people.
I think it's kind of
Like,
nice.
I've done that for normal movies.
I would say it's better when there's less people,
Yeah,
Really,
as long as they're quiet.
I guess yeah, that's true. If you want like a true, because for me, I almost like going to the theaters like maybe not the first day, but the second day, where you still got a pretty packed theater because there's something about the energy.
Yeah,
Of
I like that
the
too.
Well,
theater.
yeah, there is that, but I don't think having a theater with few people is odd as long as everyone's quiet and respectful. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like when we got done with the movie of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, we all like talked about it. It was kind of fun. Like they're like, "Oh, so I
really?
liked it."
That's cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty good. Like it was, I don't really have any gripes other than it was a movie. Like it's like, oh, it was really like had to be really simplified. You can tell that there's like maybe more like a 5 hours of content, but they put it into 2 hours or whatever. But
Yeah, sure.
it's fine. It's the limitations. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm like all the way through the manga and I loved it. And they're like all like really happy. And they're all, I don't know, they're all weebs. So it was kind of fun just to talk about it and be like,
Yeah.
do you like the
was it
show?
like a
It's not even
diverse
like
crowd
that
of
crazy
people,
yet.
too?
It's going to be way crazier.
Yeah.
So-
And was it like a diverse crowd of people from like all walks of life kind of?
I would say it was like a lot of younger people. It wasn't
Yeah.
a lot of older, but it was younger, some professional-ish looking people. Some were just, waiters probably at places or just random walks of life kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
No, that's cool. I always like seeing that too, especially in like, smaller, because it's like, all right, it's a good almost analogy for the, what we were talking about earlier with how anime has, blown up so much is because like
Yeah.
if you see a bunch of people from different walks of life, it's kind of hit that mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Michael's point, though, I do really like, day one energy. That's probably the best movie experience I've ever had is when, like the Marvel movies, for example.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
where you see it
absolutely.
day
It's
one.
exactly what I was
That's
thinking of,
amazing.
too.
Or the
When-
Star Wars movies, even if
Yep.
you didn't
Yeah,
like them, they were good.
I don't know if I saw it with you guys, but I think I did. The first night release of Infinity War.
Yeah, was that?
You
Yeah,
know?
that was us, I think. Yeah.
I
I
watched.
saw that movie 3 times in theaters over the course of like a week.
Yeah.
The first time was with you guys, I'm pretty sure, and when that was midnight showing or like night of showing,
Mm-hmm.
and moments in it when the theater just goes nuts, like when Captain picks up the
Spear?
the hammer,
Oh yeah.
and everyone's like,
No, that's Endgame.
like-
That was Endgame, yeah.
Oh, Endgame.
But that
sorry,
was
that's
an
what I meant,
amazing
Endgame.
theater moment. That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
god,
I wasn't,
stuff
I was
like
not
that is
expecting
so
that
good.
at all. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah. Endgame was.
Or like when the the Thanos comes through and kills or hits the complex, blows it up.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is like either gasping or dead silent. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh my, like you can
Yeah.
tell how much people are invested into this.
Or do you
Yeah.
remember
I
that
love those
moment
moments.
when everyone got dusted at the end of Infinity War? Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just remember my
I remember
theater
people
being like,
gasping.
exactly, just dead. And it was dead silent. And I was like,
That makes it way more
Yeah,
intense. That's like so
That
good.
was such
Yeah.
a good experience. I was like, you feel terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
having seen
Also-
and
that.
there's like a couple of people who got the Captain Marvel reference or whatever it was at the end
Oh,
of
at
it.
the end? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everyone, like those people were like, oh, this is like, oh, like there was one
it's
kid
it's coming.
who saw that and I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly. It's Captain Marvel. It's like, it's going to be like,
Yeah.
shit's going to really hit the fan.
Yeah.
So
Another
Yeah,
one.
stuff like that is you can't miss with first day energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First day, honestly, some of the best first day energy I've had too is like in horror movies. I saw
Let's go.
A Quiet Place, the first one in theaters, like the
Yeah.
first day. That was also really, really fun because it was,
That was really
you didn't
good.
know what you're getting into. It was like the same thing, but
Yeah.
like all the crazy jump scares were really, really fun. And when badass shit happened, it was like everyone was cheering. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah.
So
That's a movie type. I just don't watch a ton of our horror movies. I think we've talked about this a little bit, but I don't know.
there aren't a lot of good
I,
horror movies, to be
I
completely
wouldn't say
honest.
Quiet Place is horror though. That's more suspense.
It's like a thriller.
But I love suspense movies.
Yeah.
Thrillers
Yeah.
and suspense. Those are really good.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of good
Horror
stuff.
movies I don't watch a ton of, but they are fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like thriller movies too. Like, how was the one? I like Gone Girl a lot.
That was
I
good.
saw that one.
That was
Yeah.
fun. Yep.
But anything where it's like, I don't know.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is out, and
That's a
for those who don't
thriller
know,
right there.
that's Sean's favorite franchise, I think, right?
Why is this spreading? No, it's not.
Yeah. It's apparently
Is it out?
yeah,
That's shocking.
apparently IGN reviewed it 7 out of 10. Good. Good movie.
7 out of
I
10.
don't
Knuckles in
trust
it.
IGN.
What was
though,
the
man.
original rated at?
I'm probably. I
wonder.
think it was rated higher. Maybe. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Wow, that must mean the second one must really suck.
Did you watch it? Not like it? I forget like your take on it.
The first one, yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Like I like bad movies, but there's a limit.
There's a limit. There's like bad, funny,
And it doesn't
then
hit
there's
that
bad.
so bad it's good level.
Yeah, no, not at
Alright.
all.
You
Well,
know?
you gotta
not for
watch
me, at
the
least.
you gotta watch the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 then, and give us your review.
Yeah. I want to know Sean's review. He's gonna be able to tell us.
Why?
You gotta
I can
know,
tell
we
you what
gotta
it is
know.
without watching it.
You want to know this weird thought I was having as we were talking about anime resurging into popular culture? Like what's the next thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next like thing
The
that's
next
like
underground thing.
underground,
that's
maybe
popular?
nerd culture thing. So I would say anime is pretty heavy nerd culture, whatever. I was like thinking of what it would be, and I can't think
else
of
is
anything, but like for whatever reason, and it was making me laugh. Like I was like laughing at myself. I was like, dude, what if like furries became really popular in like 10 years?
Oh no!
I could definitely see that being a thing because that's like the perfect thing.
God.
It's like cringe to us, and then 10
perfect thing.
years,
Perfect thing.
quote that, and clip that. Colton calls for is the perfect thing.
it's like cringe to us. Like anime might have sounded, to people 10 years or 20 years in front of us. But I don't know. I just keep seeing furry shit, or not furry shit. I don't want to like, exercise all furries or anything, but I keep seeing furry
I
stuff
will.
pop up all the time, and it maybe not all the time, but it's way more prominent, and it keeps like being pushed and pushed into all.
How are you seeing this? I'm not seeing any of this. Is your
There's
search
tons
tag
of just
getting a
random
little-
like Twitter memes that pop up, and there's tons of
okay.
like just people on YouTube, and they'll have like a furry meme, and I'm just like, interesting. Like anime is like, especially like all the cat girls going around, like there's like this, I feel like there's this push towards furryism, and it's just happening. I feel like that's going to be the next big thing.
Well, there is
Genetically
that.
engineered cat girls.
There's
I'd
that
do
like chart, right? That's like, if you have people lined up, all right, and how much they're wearing of animal,
Yeah.
like there's a line that people
Yeah.
draw.
Yeah.
Like ears. Most people would say are okay. Ears, tail, most people say it's okay. But then you start replacing like patches of skin with fur, and it's like,
And then everyone's like, I don't know about this. And then you go to like level 4, and it's like
that's when the line
Simba,
starts getting
and they're
drawn,
like, no.
Yeah, I think if I remember, I'm trying to remember the exact.
it's like 80% needs to be human or something like that.
Yeah.
ears,
80 to 90%.
ears and tail. It's like it's not at that border, and you go past the border at like a snout or a muzzle, and
If you do that,
yeah.
you're way past the line, in my opinion.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. A lot of people are so into the whole like tails and ears thing. It's just like you're edging. Like soon it's gonna be fine to have like the hands and the feet. And then it's gonna be like the snout. I think over time, like it's just like
I can
going
see
that
your
way.
point. While this is potential, I think people definitely will have like their lines that don't usually get changed. The next generation, sure, maybe that'll change.
That's that's what I'm thinking. It's like the next generation. It's like
yeah,
something's
like
gonna happen.
It's like the next taboo that is kind of like being slowly pushed upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why. That sounds like it'd be the perfect storm. I don't know of anything else that would like. Okay, maybe saying anime.
There's
and
always gonna be
furries.
some new cringy thing,
Yeah. What's that new
Yep.
cringy thing though? What is it?
But see, I'm old enough where I'm just out of touch with anything that would be considered quote unquote cool in like even at this point college or high school, and let alone the younger kids.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
And that's where all the stuff's being thought up, and that you bring it over into your adult life.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, once anime is normalized, what's going to be the next normalized thing?
I don't know what it would be. I mean, TikTok's pretty weird. Like that's what makes me feel unassociated or like deassociated with some stuff. But see, when I like look at YouTube influencers and YouTube people, they're all like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with TikTok. TikTok's weird. So I don't feel like the weird one. Everyone, even people who are really famous on TikTok are like, yeah, it's like, I don't know what's going on. Like I just
Yeah.
do shit and I get a lot of follows.
Well, also, like, I don't think any of us have like channels to any of these younger people. Like, I don't have any, I mean, I have some cousins that are young, but they're not in like middle school, let's say.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what any kids like that are thinking. And you won't have that, I think, until if you do have kids, they get into that situation, and then that's when you again are reintroduced to all these new cringy ideas that are, the kids are having.
The new cringy ideas. Yeah.
You have kids potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's weird to me.
It is weird.
That I'm just like completely out of the loop, and there's no way to get back into the loop. I don't think.
Nope.
Yeah, without
Yeah.
Without being real, without being what's the word, ostracized as.
Mm-hmm. It's funny though, when we were younger, right? Like looking back, I remember like time when I was younger. It's like, oh my gosh, like the older kids are like don't get it, right? And now I'm the older person, right? And I'm like, wait, now I totally understand that, and I will never get it. I feel like there's like always going to be that generational, that what you're talking about there, Sean. There's always going to be that generational like passing, and like eventually when we're 40, we're the same as our parents.
It's gonna be so weird. Yeah.
When you're 13, you're like, oh, I hate my parents. They don't understand me and stuff like that. You're like, you're edgy tween, edgy teenager, and then it's like, wait, you end up being the exact same person.
I disagree. I think you can always try to make an effort like that. Like if I ever have kids, my goal is to never be the adult or the parent that initially will cut somebody off or be like, this doesn't make sense. I would always attempt to try to emphasize with something that they're doing or get interested into something they're doing, because this also goes along with my wanting to always be learning. Like I don't ever want to get stuck in my ways.
Yeah.
So I very much hope that if I ever do have kids, I'm not that type of person, and I would love to be the parent the kid would be like, yo, my parents cool. I want them to go do this stuff.
The cool dad,
like,
yeah.
The cool dad.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think I can do it, but I don't know.
Yeah. It just might not everything will click. Like, I don't know.
Not everything. And sure, there's definitely things I will probably never understand or want to do, but at the same time, I would want to do it for my kid.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Like a lot of people probably can't understand VTubers, but hey, we get them. We know exactly why they're popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the next popular trend, actually.
You think?
It's already hitting the mainstream.
I think it's going to be something more in like VR. It'll be like interacting more with people in VR, like VR playdates and VR. Like you'll watch something, but you'll watch it through VR. Like let's have a watch party of this movie, but then you'll watch it through VR. I can see that being a thing, even though I think that's totally understandable, and I'm not going to question or like be weirded out about that.
I think you just need to make VR more comfortable.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah.
Like we tried doing like the watch shows in like a virtual room with headsets, and it just becomes uncomfortable after like an hour.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to wear this headset anymore.
I still found it fun. Like I honestly it was fun. Sometimes I like to watch stuff with the VR headset because it's like you get a big screen and it still looks really good. Like I do that still every once in a while just because it's cool.
It looked really good. I gotta say, like when you casted from your PC,
there's definitely a
Mr. Quality,
not as good as it could be, but that's the thing. Like you make it more comfortable and more high fidelity, and then it's easy to do all that.
Yeah.
And most people would probably switch over to that as their primary form of like media consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I also intrigued me a lot about the VR chat thing was I felt like people were like, in a lot of ways, the avatar kind of thing. I don't. It's kind of a side topic, but like they become more genuine in a lot of ways. Like they could be. Like you'd have like really honest conversations with people. Like we've had that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where you're just like, oh, you have like a normal conversation. Like they're a bunch of just like well, I mean, obviously a lot of them like anime because they're in the gaming anime kind of that sphere, right? But you just like like talk about problems, stuff like that. Like there's one conversation I was having, kind of like part of with I think it was after you had left when we were hanging out one time, Sean, in VR, and it was like deaf girl, who was communicating with sign language inside VR chat, and there's another girl who could read sign language, and she was like trying to read it through there, right? And it was really interesting. Just
that was cool.
Like talking with that. Obviously I can't read, but we're kind of all chatting and asking some questions, and, like just hearing stories and stuff like that, and telling stories, and it's like. So it's an interesting medium for that. I don't know. I'm excited to see where that goes though.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
there's definitely pros and cons to that. Like
Yeah.
you, by not being yourself, you can be anybody, which is how like cyberbullying happens and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's
But
like
true, yeah.
it's like the next level of the internet. Like people can reach out and connect and do all these really good things, but then also now cyberbullying, you have someone in open chat literally like flaming you, and it's not just text anymore. It's like someone actually getting in your
that's
face.
happened. That's happened since the Xbox days when people are in Xbox Live.
Yeah, but now it's like
yeah.
someone's actually like in an avatar and like actually in your face, and will like if you try to leave, you physically can't get away from them. They'll just follow you, and it's crazy.
well, the only benefit is now you can like select them and completely remove them from your
you can't
vision,
block them.
and-
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can mute them. So
but still,
Which
it's
is actually a
like
lot easier than you would be able to do that normally online, I think.
yeah.
yeah,
Blocking
And-
people,
and
you
in
can't
real
block
life-
anybody on YouTube, you know,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
real life for sure.
I mean, have you ever tried like just like taping someone's mouth shut in real life? Just to shut the
Like,
fuck
nope,
up.
you're muted now. You're not to our terms and
blocked.
conditions.
You literally like hold like a piece of like cardboard in front of them so in your vision.
No.
put in earplugs, hold up a cardboard
Yeah, it's like nope.
Sign.
Out of sight,
Yeah,
out of mind.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, there's lots of pros and lots of cons to whatever new technology
Yeah.
is introduced, especially when it relates to social interaction.
yeah. Oh, I think there's a lot of room for both improvement. Like we've talked a little bit about meta a bit on a previous podcast here, but I don't know that and like that needs a lot more development. But I think there's a lot room for specifically that ability to be honest with people because you're essentially wearing your own a certain mask in a way. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
This is true.
I know. That's
I don't know. We got down a rabbit hole in that conversation.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Hey, furries
It
are
was
really
kinda fun to
prominent
predict
in
in the
VR
future,
chat, so that's just another add to my claim that furries are the next big thing. It's coming, boys.
That's
Get
true.
ready.
I remember, gosh, we were touring some worlds there, and yeah, you just like, oh, this is interesting. God, what was
It's
that?
just
What was that
filled
one
with it.
world that we ran into, Sean? You're like, oh, this
I
is
don't
an
know.
Avatar world, and it's like, oh, there's a bed, and
This is
I
not
found
my
that-
world
I
to be
found
in.
that
I'm gonna
hilarious.
leave.
I found that absolutely hilarious that you guys stumbled upon that. That is like so funny to me.
yeah, you're like, oh, these,
Like, oh,
and these like photos on
crap.
the walls of avatars in compromising
Like poke your head
positions.
in, kind of literally, you know, and you're like, oh,
You're like,
okay,
oh
bye.
god.
Yep, I'll leave you
Sorry
two
for
alone.
disturbing you.
And it's like
Exactly,
not even.
yeah.
It's like you guys didn't even want to find that. You found it by chance. You found it by trying to search for like other Avatar things. It's like
That's kind of the beauty of it
What?
too. It's like, all right, it's just boom, done.
it's
All
just
right, go in
there. That's how it is.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
But yeah, the VTuber thing is I think a whole nother boat too. I wonder what the draw of that is, because I mean we've all seen clips and stuff like that.
Well, everyone
too.
like some people just like the anime girls, and now they're like kind of real. Now you can actually talk to anime girls,
Mhm.
and that's like
Your
I feel
waifu
like
is
that's
real.
kind of the.
I bet
appeal.
that's a lot of it, but I also think a lot of it is like, you know, getting away from the real world for the viewer and the presenter, you know,
Mhm.
or like being like Michael has the, you know, you're just talking about having a mask online. That's the entire point of a VTuber. Is like you're wearing this mask so you can be somebody else,
Or
Yeah.
and then
I don't know about that, but like be, because there's definitely
or be
people
more
who-
genuine, or
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
But because normally you wouldn't be able to do that in real life, you know, or you might look one way that you can't present what you're trying to present because of how you look. or
Yeah,
something
you
like
want to
that.
like look like a cute anime girl instead. So
Yeah, so I think that's probably the draw, you know, and the reason why I don't want to see any VTubers like real self, because then it like ruins it for me in my mind, because it's all part of the illusion.
hmm
And like, this person's entertaining, but it's like, it's because they're this character. If I saw who they really were, I'd be like, well, shoot. You know, it's not like an actor where you know what an actor looks like at all point and they're just acting like somebody else.
Mhm.
It's a level beyond that. You know, they are quote unquote somebody else.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Interesting, yeah.
It's kind of,
Yeah, I gotta, Colton. You should set up a VTuber avatar. Just be a cute anime girl with like a really deep voice.
Hello, gamers. Yeah, that's
because
something.
now there's two levels to that too. Like there's people that start out as VTubers and then they're,
they
you
want to
know,
go into
no one knows their true face. And then there's people who start out as regular people, regular streamers, or let's say, and then make a VTuber account. and everyone kind of knows it's them,
Yeah.
but they aren't usually, talking about it. You
Right.
know, like,
Yeah.
It's just kind of their alter persona thing, and they kind of
Yeah.
go with it.
And I definitely think there's a difference between that. So I think what could become popular is people just adopting a VTuber, persona if they want to do like another type of content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, adopting a completely different personality.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. But I don't want to see people who start as VTubers. I don't want to see their initial face. Like the whole thing with Callie now. Like I just don't watch any of Callie's stuff now because it's kind of
Really?
like, well, yeah,
Yeah, that's so
Like, well, it's
weird.
not-
Like it
it's-
broke the illusion for you.
yeah. For me, it's like, well, I listen to her music because in my mind, music is different.
Mm-hmm.
But as like a visual media, I'm like, well, there's no point anymore. So
Really?
yeah.
I mean, I still think there's a point, I guess, but I mean, I understand. It's like now you always think of the real person instead of this like fake person. I don't know. Some people take it really far though, because like I know her fan base specifically. She like talks about the what she's like the Grim Reaper or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
there's actually like you like role play into that, like the fantasy role play part of it. It's not like, oh, I'm the Grim Reaper and I'm just doing this because I like the Grim Reaper style. It's like, oh, I actually have like a backstory to myself, kind of thing. And some
Interesting.
people get like really invested in that lore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like the fact that she like they take it
I
pretty
I think
far.
you're always gonna have people like that get really too invested. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
too
just-
invested is the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against her as a person or anything. It's just like for me as a viewer, it's just not it's kind of it breaks that illusion, so it's not as entertaining as it was before. So then
But what
I
if
stop watching
Gura,
it.
what if Gura's way cuter as a regular person than her avatar?
I don't know.
Would it still break the illusion?
I don't know.
Or
It probably would. I
Yeah.
think it probably would.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always thought of it as, all right, they're just a normal streamer. They just use a virtual avatar, and like the backstory stuff, all that lore stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. I see
Yeah,
it
it's like
more,
a fun gimmick.
It's
it's
a bit.
not.
That's how
yeah,
I see it.
it is.
It's a bit.
It is a bit.
So
yeah.
when people switch between the two, I'm like, all right, it's just whatever. Like, as long as they're having fun and like, and they make good content, I don't give a fuck.
That's true.
Sure. Yeah.
Because wait, Sean,
Yeah.
you watch Nyanners and stuff, and you know what she looks like IRL, right?
I don't. No.
Oh, you don't? Okay, that's like a lot more widely available.
I just never pops up for me.
Interesting.
I never go actively search it.
Okay.
So don't send it to me. I
all
don't
right.
want to know.
She's from Michigan, right? She's from our land.
She must be. She keeps saying she says she's had a Michigan
She had an accent?
So
yeah.
You can pick it up sometimes. That's funny. Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of rabbit hole in and of itself.
Yeah. People are thinking
No
of it.
pun intended.
what
Um,
VTubers in general, or
Yeah, and just that sphere. It's interesting. I wonder how that niche is so, because it's like a niche of the anime community. I wonder if there's other niches that like pull into it.
yeah,
Because we're talking about like how things are gonna grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like what's going to be the next trend, and definitely, I think that's going to be the next trend. But
Just more, not VTubers necessarily, but just more people, virtual streamers.
exactly, yeah. I mean, I wonder if even it'll get to the point where we'll do virtual workspaces with like avatars and not.
I could see that. For
Yeah,
sure.
I could definitely see that.
like teams.
30
'cause
years
there's-
down the line.
Because frankly, like teams, like it kind of sucks sometimes. Like especially like you're like, just like on the other end of
Well,
teams.
that's a
meeting.
Microsoft product. Kind of sucks. I'll talk to you later about Microsoft licensing. Oh my god! It's
you can tell me about it. Oh, it's so much fun dealing
hazardous
with.
and haphazard. Like,
Have you had to deal with volume licensing at all?
Yep,
Yeah. That's
it's ridiculous.
Sorry, Colton. That's an IT.
IT
joke.
jargon.
Sorry, listeners.
You
Yeah.
just give me the licenses, I'll make Excel spreadsheets.
It's so dumb how they do things sometimes.
It's a very convoluted system that
Regardless, I think
there's like 5 different systems layered on top of each other, and you have to
God.
kind of all get them to finagle together.
regardless, I think in the future, if there's a company that comes out and is as like a virtual workspace company, I think that has potential.
I mean, I tried the virtual desktop options in VR, and I thought it was actually kind of cool. I mean, it would definitely the same thing you're talking about, where it's like, all right, we're sitting here, and like after an hour, you'll get a little fuzzy, but it's a pretty awesome thing to be able to go, all right, I want to have 3 monitors. I just create a new monitor and put it there.
Yeah. It's cool, but I mean, you can't type the same way, you know, like there's fidelity that needs to be increased.
Well, I mean, you can type on your keyboard.
Yeah, but not everybody can touch type like that. So
That's true, yeah.
you need to be able to see your keyboard or a virtual keyboard and be able to be as accurate as you would normally be with a regular
Have
keyboard.
really good hand tracking, or pass-through technology, AR technology. Could be the first
the
step.
fidelity overall in all forms, touch, taste, or not taste, but touch and sight
Taste my keyboard.
need to be
Yeah, it tastes
need
to be
to
a
be
hell of a thing.
increased.
Although, dude, they did make that. Did you see? They created. I think it's in Japan. They created a touchscreen you can lick, and it like
I
simulates
keep
different.
seeing
What?
that. It looks so dumb.
That is way too
it's
much
ridiculous.
engineering for. Where is that going to be used?
And it's so dumb. Like no one's gonna lick a screen. Like that's just the worst
well,
thing to
It's
think.
literally the worst thing to lick too, because it's like dirtier than a toilet seat too.
Yeah, it's terrible. God.
Yeah, but I mean, still, hey,
I saw that everywhere online for months. I'm like, did you see they can lick? Shut up.
I don't want to know.
Oh man.
but yeah, no, I think it's.
yeah.
I mean, maybe that technology in 10 years will be really cool, where you can actually simulate. I mean, obviously, it's not the same thing as eating food because
Right.
it's more.
Yeah, you need something like Sword Art to be able to do that.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's not eating food, no calories.
that's what we're going towards. That's what we're going towards.
I hope one day.
One day, we could talk about this like all day, every day for multiple podcasts, and just
Oh,
yeah,
Sean
that's gonna be
definitely
so
can.
fucking cool, so cool.
Did you guys see or watch at all the Halo show?
I have not
It's airing
watched
right now?
the new Halo show. No,
No,
Okay. Are you gonna watch it at all?
probably
or-
not.
I will
So
not.
you go ahead and spoil
Okay.
it to the nth degree.
So
Spoiler warning for the new Halo show.
this is our
If
first
you
proper
care
about the
spoiler
Halo
warning
show,
we've ever had. We are always like,
spoiler
yep,
warning.
this person
Yeah,
dies.
we always
Oh
immediately
yeah,
start talking about stuff. So I think it's a good show. Okay.
I
But-
think that's a pretty controversial opinion from what I've heard.
But it's not a good Halo adaptation, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing things that are completely divergent from established lore. And I think 2 episodes have come out now, maybe 3, and completely divergent.
yeah,
It just in ways that it's always weird when they do an adaptation of anything.
yeah.
Halo, video game, movie, whatever. And they adapt something and then they don't stick to what is established.
Yeah.
Because obviously what's established is a good story and people like it. That's why you're making a show about it. So then why would you change it? That's normally the argument. Now, there's things I like about the show and there's things I don't like about the show. But at the same at the end of the day, I think it's cool that they're doing it. A bit disappointed that they're doing it not how Halo is actually done.
Yeah, the way they are doing it.
But you know, I'm like, well, it's a show, and you know, it's not canon. You know, it's not in my head, and it's definitely not canon because it's not following established lore. But in my mind, it's like inspired by the Halo universe is what I feel they should have added underneath the title. Because there's some weird stuff. Now, I'll start with what's good, because what's good is first episode comes in, you get aliens, you get the Covenant, and you get the Spartans. All right,
Great, and they're
That's what
fighting.
you always want to see in a Halo thing,
Yeah,
and they
got
both
that right.
look good.
Yeah,
The Spartans are destroying everything, and they're doing it in a way that's like, heck yeah, that's how a Spartan would fight. And then the aliens actually look good. They're full CGI characters, and they look good.
they got
and they
the
move
money.
well.
Yeah,
That's good.
So very impressive. I was very impressed. But they immediately diverge from established lore. In the first episode, Master Chief takes his helmet off.
Oh boy!
I heard that, and everyone got like uproar. There's an uproar
that would be
that.
something that would really trigger a lot of people. I can see that.
It's just kind of disappointing because like the whole thing, or one of the main things with Halo is Master Chief never takes off his helmet. You see the faces of other Spartans, but never Master Chief. And and mostly that's because the viewer can put themselves, or the player can put themselves in the shoes of Master Chief.
Yeah.
Because anybody could be Master Chief.
Right.
That's kind of the point of him always having his helmet on. Right? And then he takes it off. And I'm like, what are you doing?
That's really controversial. I did not know that, actually. That's crazy to me that they went and did that, actually.
Yeah. And they changed the lore of the Spartans themselves and like how they came about. And like, so established lore is Spartans were regular people, regular kids, and then a section of the military kidnapped them when they were 6 years old or younger, and then put them in a training camp and ran them through like brutal training, day in and day out, surgically augmented them, and then they became the Spartans.
Yeah,
essentially.
like
the armor
like
that they got.
In like the same vein of like the Witcher games, where it's like, all right, a lot of people died, and like they have to go like through augmentation and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, not everybody survived augmentation. You know, like Black Ops level of military operation, right? But the kids knew that, you know, but they just were trained so hard that they just kind of, you know, that was their life now.
Right.
You know, six years old or younger, you don't really gonna care much for your family after 10 years of brutal military training.
Right.
You're just not gonna remember. But the whole thing in this show is they kidnapped them as kids, and then they like brainwashed them, or like they like zapped their memories away. And it's this. It adds this extra dynamic that's like really off-putting. Like Halsey, which is the leader of the Spartan program, the scientist that like the genius scientist.
Yeah.
She's got this weird hidden agenda to her, you know, that she didn't normally have in the original lore. She was like, okay, this is terrible, but we have to do it because
we need to train these kids.
We need to train these kids. And originally they were trained to fight the like humans, insurrectionists between the inner and outer colonies. But then the Covenant attacked, and it made what they're doing feel a little better inside, because we're not fighting humans, we're fighting aliens for the human race.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. But in the show, she's got this weird hidden agenda, and she's trying to keep them brainwashed and everything. And that was never her real goal in the games and books. You know?
Yeah.
It just feels different. Yeah, and that's kind of the
Have they
main
brought
thing.
Cortana on yet?
Not yet, but the plan is to do that, and the like. And that was the other thing they were trying to do, is like Cortana, the whole system that is like it makes this AI that like makes the Spartans more of a machine. And I'm like, that's not at all what Cortana was supposed to do. Like Cortana, quote unquote, the systems. Like, okay, so Cortana is a AI, right?
Yeah.
This is the original lore. She's a single AI amongst many AI. AI is a standard thing in the world so far. In the show, they don't exist, right? But in the lore in the games, AI exists, and there's smart AIs and dumb AIs. And dumb AIs have infinite lifespans, really, and they're designed to do a task. Smart AIs generally die after 8 years because they think themselves to death.
They think themselves.
And
okay,
which is kind of what happened into Cortana. And all the Spartans. The end game for all the Spartans was to pair all of them up with an AI, a different AI, that would be their like high level on the field battle tactician. You know, be able to hack into systems that they need to get into.
Right.
Basically, just like a secondary, you know,
their man
person
in the chair.
Yeah. That's the goal of the AIs, and there's they're beings that can react at the same time that Spartans can react. You know.
Yeah.
people would not be able to communicate with Spartans fast enough because in part of the augmentation was increasing their like brain speed. Like they think
They can just
way
process
faster
everything
than
and
normal
like
people.
they're like thinking all these steps ahead kind of thing.
Yeah. And like one of the things that originally happened in the books was Cortana helped Master Chief deflect an anti-tank missile by telling him when to move his hand to like smack it away because she can calculate his reaction speed and his movement speed to know the exact time to tell him to move.
Yeah, the ultimate
which is something he wouldn't normally be able to do himself.
Yeah.
So it's an extra augmentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're supposed to be. In the show, it's like it's Cortana is like the one AI that's going to be duplicated
Oh.
to like control all the Spartans, so they don't remember they're anything and they like act like more machines.
Huh.
And I'm like, what? Why are they doing it like that? That's so much more like darker than the original Halo was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it takes away from like the special moments.
It takes away the meaning.
and also
like,
the relationship too, because like the
Yeah.
relationship between Cortana and Chief was like really paramount to that story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
It's kind of the whole thing that it developed around it. Like several games were built around that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would really bug me. Like, I don't know, that something like that would definitely turn me off to the series. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to separate it. I'd just be like, man, like, why are you guys doing it? Do you like, have they come out and said why they're changing the lore so much? Because it must be super intentional. It's not like they just didn't research it, I would think.
I'm
It's
pretty
not
sure
like there's
actually that's the
a
reason.
huge established
They
lore for
They
it.
just didn't research. They're like, Spartan's cool. Cortana is an AI, so we'll do
Yeah,
this.
supposedly I remember reading an article where the person, like the director or whatever of the show, basically went, all right, we're not going to actually play the games or anything like that. We're just going to like do our own thing.
That's a recipe for disaster. I mean,
So it's like,
know why we've had so many examples to date of adaptions that have gone wrong. Why would they keep doing
And
it?
it's
I
like-
don't
They
get
did
it.
yeah,
exactly.
and it's not
Because
even
the-
intentional.
yeah.
It's not like they're trying to put this like non-canon spin on this
no,
story.
it's totally intentional. It's 100% intentional
They're-
because they
they're-
literally said we don't give a fuck.
But like,
Is it like a rights thing? Is it just like a
I don't think-
creative?
I think it's a creative
spirit.
I think
thing?
it's a
Like,
creative thing.
they
It's
just
like,
want it to be different. But like, they got to know
Yeah.
that no one's gonna want that. I feel
I mean,
like
but
that's
the Halo universe is so well established. You can make your own story in it if you wanted to. They don't even need to have Chief in here.
And
they
that's
could have
what-
some random Spartan
Think about
working
Arcane.
within the established rules, and they don't do it.
Think about Arcane. Like that's a great example of where they use the established kind of world and some of the characters, obviously, right, from League, and then went, all right, we're gonna build a totally new story, taking these some characters because there's, I mean, for instance, this Arcane has a lot more gray area. In that
I want to
regard.
stop you right now, though. You cannot compare the established lore of League of Legends to
Oh,
Halo.
I agree. That's what I'm just about to say. Is like there's
Okay.
obviously a lot more room to maneuver in the League
In
of Legends
League,
Arcane
yeah.
universe because it's not like very character backstories are not like haven't
Sure.
been put out in a multiple game series.
You have hours of
and
actual
books.
dialogue Master Chief has actually said, and Cortana.
Yeah.
all the characters.
Yeah,
It's kind of crazy. Also, like they have some major characters here, like Keyes, Captain Keyes, Commander Keyes. Now in the show, at the time of the show, has a daughter who becomes Commander Keyes. Is also paramount to the series. Commander Keyes is like this weird, like we gotta kill people for the
It's, like,
for the
completely
greater
different.
good of the UNSC, and I'm like, Keyes was never like that in the show or in the game in the book. But in the show now, he's like, I'll make any sacrifice needed to protect the UNSC. I'm like, no, it's not at all what he was like. It's
weird.
crazy.
It's like you should have just hired like 3 people that knew the lore like decently, and they could have just
They could have just hired me.
they
like,
could have
I
hired
don't know
some
that
dude.
well.
They could have just went on the Reddit page and been like, hey, we're thinking about doing this.
Absolutely.
Is this a good idea? No.
Yeah.
Yes. Like you could have hired the moderators of the Reddit page.
It just is now.
That's
I
weird.
do enjoy the show because it's an interesting take on it. But that's why I'm thinking that's in my head it's inspired by and not canon at all
Yeah.
because it can't be canon. But I don't understand why in general the movie and TV companies will do this because obviously people like the game or the books.
Yeah, like the lore,
or
the established lore
or whatever of they're adapting.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you try and put a spin on it that you're taking risks? All you're doing is taking risks. You're risking the original fan base, and you're risking that people will actually like, people who don't know about the series will like the spin you're taking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why do that when you know there's an established fan base that will consume the media you're doing for money.
It might be
Like,
it might be easier to write stuff like that in though, because honestly, unfortunately, I feel like the thing they're worried about most is just money. So if they're just able to write some BS in that advances the plot in a very simplistic way, or just makes it easier to just not worry about the plot.
But if it pisses
they
enough
already
people
have
off,
a
and they're
script.
not,
I don't know. They
could
have
just
the plot already.
remake the game.
Yeah,
honestly,
they could just remake the game.
Remake the game as a show. I don't watch.
I don't know.
100%.
The Halo thing seems extra odd because it's like they're blatantly going away from some of the big like Halo taking off his helmet is pretty wild. I don't even play Halo, and I know that's like
extremely
stupid.
drastic choices they're diverging from.
Yeah.
Also, here's what's even crazy. Okay, I have totally forgot this. This is another crazy thing. Okay, the Covenant. Okay, alien race, or a group of alien races that have a very strict caste structure. Okay, their entire religion is based around finding these halos to activate them to go on the great journey, right? Mm-hmm. They think that it'll lead them to salvation. Really, it kills everything, every sentient life in the galaxy, which is why the humans try to stop them.
Yeah.
That's their religion, though, is trying to find these halos and do that. Now, anybody who's not a part of this, of the races that are there, or part of the Covenant, they are blasphemous, and you need to kill them all. Mm-hmm. That's why they start attacking the humans, because they see them as a blight on their religion or against their gods, and they're going to kill them all. Like, that's the only reason we have this war.
Sure.
Okay? There, in the show, is a human who's working with the Covenant, and they call her, like, the Blessed One.
Whoa,
because she could activate a lot of, like, Forerunner technology, which is what the rings are. It's Forerunner technology, by touching it, because
because she can.
The humans are technically like the Reclaimers, who can take on the Forerunner technology, mantle responsibility, so on and so forth. It's like the humans that would be able to do that. And this human is able to do that, and somehow we haven't learned why she became, she started working with the Covenant, or anything like that. My guess is they found her on some planet and she was using whatever. If the Covenant from the games saw that, they'd kill her right away. There is no chance at all that they would work with this person. They would kill them and consider them like a false god or a demon and kill them. The fact that they're working with her boggles my mind.
Yeah.
I'm assuming like if she even touched the Forerunner stuff, they'd be like, you've basically like, you've
tainted the surface,
tainted this holy place, and
from the game lore. But in the show lore, it's like, oh no, she's a blessed one who can activate the stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
That is weird.
That's not at all what they would do.
I would be boycotting the shit out of that. Honestly, I don't know if I could respect something like that, because it's not like they came out and said they're trying to put a new take on the universe, from what I know.
No, they're calling it Halo.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only title.
Like, they're trying
to
say this is the new universe, or I don't know.
I don't know what they're trying to say.
I'd be pretty butthurt. I'd be a butthurt fan.
It's definitely not the new universe.
Yeah. Maybe they're just going to rewrite the whole universe. It's like the cinematic universe of Halo. But then it's like Spider-Man,
but like
it's like different than the MCU, where it's like Spider-Man then, like, I don't know, bombed a building because he went evil for a second, and it's like that's like too far. Spider-Man wouldn't do that.
All right, Sean, what would you say if you had to give the showrunners like advice on to say you have the option to restart this entire franchise and be like start from ground zero? What would you advise them to do for the Halo franchise? Would it be like
play the game,
just do the game?
Do any sort of research,
or they could probably just read. They could probably just read the first pages of the wiki, because from what I understand, Halo lore is not like crazy complicated. It's not like
complicated. No,
it's not like all these intricate weaving path lines at the beginning, at least.
You could really
it's not Destiny anymore.
You could just read the first book. Honestly, it covers the Spartan program creation as well as like the initial Covenant War. Easy. Like it's the only thing you would really need to see to understand all of Halo or read.
Like the first like little bit. That's so weird.
The first book, and that's like 6 hours of reading. Let's say.
I gotta think that they're intentionally trying to like. Maybe they just want to be out there. Maybe they know they'd piss off a lot of fans and get a lot of people to watch it. But then it backfired, and they're like, "Oh, we're actually just pissing them off." And they're not watching.
But what's crazy is this is like a really high budget show. Like it looks really, really good.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I don't. That's what I don't understand. Is like they've done a Halo show before. A couple short episodes and way lower budget. You could obviously tell they didn't have the budget, but those were usually a lot better as far as the story went. Whereas this has the budget, and now the story is not there. It's crazy.
Yeah, actually, was it the guy from Halo 5, right? Is it Locke? He was from he's from the TV show, right? And they brought him in?
So there was a commander, like not quite a general, but so there was a TV show that was done as a lead up to Halo 4, and that TV show had it was at the very beginning of the Spartan War or the Covenant War, and it was a following group of cadets in training at the UNSC that were just going through training, and they were going to fight the insurrectionists. And then towards the end of their training, Covenant attacked their base they're training at, and the chief showed up, killed some people, and kept going. And then it fast forwards to like 40 years down the line when this dude's now, or probably 30 or 40 years down the line, when this guy is like 30 or 40, and he's a captain or colonel in the UNSC, and he's the one that now is going, who's got Master Chief's rescue signal or like distress signal from this Forerunner planet, and he's eventually ends up taking over the Infinity, like the ship, because the current commander is an absolute moron. So he takes over that. But it's cool because like he's like, you have this history. It's like Chief saved him 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now he's returning the favor.
Heck, how long did they live? Chief saved him 30 years ago. Is he like able to live a long time, or just?
Well, you'd think with all his augmentations, he's
Well, isn't he like super old in the games anyway?
He's probably like 50 at the end of Halo 5.
Okay.
You could probably look up the actual timeline, because when he first started the war, he was, I think, 18, 19.
Oh, okay.
Like when the Covenant attacked, he was 18, 19.
So probably like 50 or 60.
And they were kidnapped when he was 6. And the war has been going on for at least 25 to 30 years. So,
shit.
And then ended in Halo 3. So.
Oh, but he also is in like cryo a lot too. Like he's been in cryo for like years before, right?
Yeah, he is in cryo a lot. So he's
so he
the
could
real time is longer than his actual biological age.
Yeah. So he could feel a lot younger, right? Could like look like a 30-year-old still.
Yeah. And he technically, Cortana is only like 9 years old at the end of Halo 4, and I think he is introduced to Cortana in Halo 1.
Yeah.
So that's an 8-year span. So he's probably not that old. He's probably in his 40s, 30s, 40s.
Gotcha.
Probably. I'm not that much of a super fan to know his actual age. But.
A fake fan found.
But you know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
I know enough to maybe win a trivia night.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's wild.
Actually, that sounds kind of fun.
That's like
video game trivia night.
I would love that. Video game trivia night. Mario.
Actually, I wonder if they do that at like a bar somewhere.
I bet they do.
Sure.
I bet
So,
you they
trivia
have.
night's a pretty common occurrence, but video game trivia night would be fun.
There's a good
like
group called
specifically
Geeks
themed.
Who Drink, and they do trivia several places. So usually nerdy topics and things like that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's crazy what they did to the show. I mean, I am gonna keep watching it, but it's just like, why?
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I don't know. I wonder if you could look that up. Like, why is the Halo show trash?
look at what they've done to my boy.
Yeah.
It's really the whole reaction, you know?
It is though. Oh,
Why is the Halo show so bad is what comes up.
nice.
Problems with the Halo TV
Alright.
series. Yeah. I'll have to look into this and see if there's like actually some sort of like explanation as to why it might be.
I'd love to ask the writers, you know, and like, hey, why? You know, why?
Yeah, I bet like most adaptations, it's a bullshit reason, like studio drama or like
Probably, but it's just dumb. Like, there is historical evidence as why you should not do that.
historical evidence.
It's like there's plenty of
Well,
reasons.
I mean, like if you look at every adaptation that's been done,
Yep.
the ones that diverge further from the source story do worse. It's
Yeah.
like it's a fact.
It just makes you look like you don't
people
care.
still do it.
Yeah, it makes you look like you don't give a shit
think
about any of the source
well,
material.
Gosh, what was that one, like the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender that came out a couple years back?
That was a movie.
I did like that, but it could have been way better.
The Dragon Ball movie. That was a movie.
That
sucks.
That's like on another level.
Yeah.
That's another level of bad.
I haven't seen the Attack on Titan movie, but
Oh, there's an FMA
was
movie
alright.
too. Apparently pretty bad as well.
or like
yeah.
like Aragon, let's say. You know, I was a huge fan of that book series as a kid, and the movie was just like it's one of those things like, oh, you know, there is no war in Boston Say. Like we just don't talk about it. You know,
Yeah.
like the Avatar movie. It's
Oh.
just it's like on that level of like it just
Avatar
doesn't
movie.
exist because it's so bad.
Yeah.
Avatar movie is the quintessential adaptation.
Which is crazy because you have source material.
And it's like simple.
Yeah.
It's like not that hard.
you
It's-
don't even need to think.
Yeah.
You just need to make it again.
Yep. And you just need to not change anything. Just like
It's simple. It's really simple. I don't know why
Yeah.
people keep messing it up.
Are you a part of the shitstorm that's to come though, Sean? You're gonna watch it through and see what happens, and you're not gonna quit on it. You're just gonna watch the rest
What?
of it.
The Halo?
Yeah, the Halo show.
Unless they do something like, I mean, they've done some crazy things, but
What would make you stop watching?
I don't know what. Let me stop watching. If like, I don't know. I'd have to see it. Like maybe if Cortana comes online and just is like,
Everyone attack message.
she could look super different. I mean, that if she looks different enough, maybe that would be enough.
Oh, really?
Or
Master Chief.
if like if her goals are completely different than she would normally do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because in the original Halo, Cortana is modeled off of Halsey. Like, you create AIs by like mapping the neural pathways of people. And normally this is a procedure that's done on like recently dead people
Yeah.
because it's very dangerous to do on someone who's living. Halsey, though, did it on herself while she was alive because she wanted the best template possible. And she is narcissistic, so she's
Yeah.
cloned herself
Yep.
or made herself into an AI, essentially, because she's like, oh, I'm, you know, the smartest person here, so I'm going to make the best AI.
Yeah.
That's part of her character. That's normal. But, and that's in the show, it's obviously a clone of her, which that's another thing. It's a clone of her instead of just her doing it herself.
I see.
Which has a very different inflection, or not inflection, but like, it makes you think a different way about Halsey because it means she's too cowardly to do it on herself when there's a danger.
Yeah.
Whereas in the original show, she did it on herself because she's like, cloning's illegal. There's nothing illegal about. Well, so is kidnapping kids, but there's nothing illegal about doing it myself. On me. And so she took that risk. In the show, she's not taking a risk.
Yeah.
In any way. And
She had
it's
balls
just
in
it shows something. It shows something different about her character.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so if this new clone person is scanned and converted into an AI, then I mean, we'll see what happens if she's equally as insane or weird. But I don't know. You'll hear about it though. If I
Yeah.
there's something.
Maybe next time.
That's
Maybe
true.
next week. or the weeks
Yep.
to come.
Come back next week.
Like
Sean's
Halo,
just
I
like,
just couldn't stop.
this
I couldn't keep
Halo
going.
show just
I
had
cannot
me.
believe they just did this.
It was all a dream. Master Chief
You
was like,
what?
this would have been shit if this happened.
Yep.
Watch it. Watch Master Chief like die. It's like a rendition of Halo of like the first game if he died, and then that was like he dies at the end of the show.
Like if Master Chief killed a Spartan, I'd be like, this is done. This is dead to me.
Well,
He would
wasn't one
never
thing-
do that.
I heard that the show, like the Spartans, like they backed up Master Chief. Like there was a conflict there, and like they were like, all right, they were like on Master Chief's side. There was like a conflict between he and UNSC, and they're like
In the
Spartans
show?
were like-
Or
yeah.
okay, so Chief went off range immediately. He was ordered to kill this kid that he saved, and then he didn't. So then the UNSC was ordered to like bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
But Halsey and they ordered the Spartans to do that, but then Halsey ordered the Spartans was like, no, if someone tries to seriously take his life, then no, don't let him, essentially.
Yeah.
And so that was what's going to happen, but then something happened and they went away, no conflict. But I mean, and that is the thing that I think that they have right in the show is how the Spartans are like acting and look. Like you see these Spartans go through, like there's a moment where they got off the ship and started going through like a crowd of Marines,
Right.
And all the Marines like moved out of the way. They're like,
Yeah.
we're not getting in the way of the Spartans.
And the
That
Spartans
is-
are also like 2 feet taller than the tallest Marine.
I mean,
too.
Spartans are like 8 feet tall.
God.
They're massive, and they weigh like almost like half to a full ton with all the armor.
All the armor.
Like
and
these guys,
mass.
There's some
are
chunky boys.
Yeah.
beasts, and they really sell that in the show. So that's what they're doing really well. They put on the helmet, and it's like, oh, get out of this guy's way.
Yeah.
That they really sell that. So that's what's really nice about the show is how I just don't know why they couldn't do the rest right.
The budget was blown on like thinking up these action scenes, and they're just like, well, for the story, just kind of do whatever,
Yeah.
Yep.
And they do sell like how like the Spartans are very mechanical in a way, especially in the games and like just in general, like they are made for a purpose, and while they do have a human side to them, that's why most people think of them as machines is because of how drilled military is drilled into them. They're very up proper, like quick with their heads, and there was very little small things that I was seeing in the show that made me think like, wow, they did that really well, or did that performance really well. So I still know why the story
performances are good, but yeah, but you could see Chief's face, which
yeah, credits where credits due, but man, you gotta be able to
Yeah.
follow through.
Very
Who knows?
true.
maybe
This is
one
a
day
Halo
they'll get
rant for the episode.
maybe one day they'll get an adaptation done really well.
Yeah.
Because I hope that video game movies become like the next superhero movie, right? Because think about like 20 years ago, superhero movies were the bane of everyone's existence and the laughing stock of the entire cinematic, or all of cinema. And now
it's just
like,
DC.
Yeah.
Well, like
Yeah.
they did The Witcher pretty good, right? Like I haven't watched the TV show, but I heard it was good.
It's all right.
It's all right, I think. Yeah, they're getting better. I think there's so much video game content out there. There is a lot of potential if you had someone do it right.
I gotta give props to Cavill for like really pulling, like he's pulling his weight.
Yeah. If you didn't have Cavill, I think it would be a very mediocre, probably. People would think it's very mediocre, potentially.
Yeah.
Without a good Witcher, without a good Geralt.
But to be fair, I've never read the books either. So these are more based on the Last Wish and the books. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's, I've only got the games to go by. But, who knows? But yeah, it's all right show. But I wouldn't say it's like crazy good.
Yeah.
It's no
One day I just
Arcane.
hope
It's
you
no
can
Arcane,
adapt
it's
something in a proper way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather let's just ditch adapting. Let's just remake. Like, I don't even want to ditch inspired by. Just make it
Just
again.
make it
like,
better.
Just
Just
do
make it again.
line for line. I don't want to even see. Like you could have done this Halo show with the original voice of Master Chief because you don't need his face.
Yeah.
You
You just need a physical actor like they did with Darth Vader, where it's like they have a different physical actor and a different vocal actor.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
It would've
actually,
been
that
easy,
would have worked.
simple, and it would have sounded probably way better.
Oh, dude. I mean, the original Master Chief's voice, fucking
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Maybe in 20 years when we have VR perfected.
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, maybe they'll do the true Halo remastered where, you put on the goggles and you are Master Chief.
That's gonna be that's gonna be everywhere. When that is the main thing, every major franchise will start being made in VR, and you'll be like replaying the whole franchise that way.
You guys haven't read Ready Player One, right?
I have not read it.
No, just seen the movie.
So there's a game in the book or in the Oasis, I think it's called, where you reenact a movie. So like a movie is made in VR, and then you are a character, and then it's like a rhythm game where you have to say the lines in the right spot and everything.
That's funny.
And if and you get bonus points for inflection, like if you say them in the right way.
That's really cool.
That sounds like a really fun
I would
game.
be on board with that.
It's like an acting game. Like where it's like what the sing was like Rock Band or whatever, where you can sing and it like takes the tone, but it also takes like the inflection of the voice, not just like singing the right words. That's really cool.
So like in the book, to pass the challenge to find the next piece, they needed to perfect the movie. It was like a classic movie.
Yeah.
Like one of them was The Goonies, and one of them was something else. But like, that's a fun game.
That's really cool.
Like if that comes out, and it's just another way to experience. Like that's remaking the movie, a new form of entertainment. Yet you don't need to do anything different. You just literally it's the movie.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
One day.
Maybe one day. One day we'll get there. Just like this podcast.
Just like this podcast. And that's a great transition.
It was. When you said that, I'm like, I got this. No, but thank you all for watching. Please follow us on Spotify, on whatever podcast channel of choice you get our podcast from, as well as now we're on YouTube, so subscribe there.
I gotta make more of those.
Yeah, we've been posting some of our streams and some of our earlier podcasts up there for the algorithm of the YouTube.
We got some funny streams, I gotta say.
We do have some streams.
Also,
I
gotta give props to Sean for the background of the YouTube. He did an amazing job on that. So,
thank you.
Please watch that. Please watch the YouTube videos just to view the background.
The background.
Maybe like mute our podcast, but then put on some lo-fi music with the
You'll get lost in those
Yes.
blue shapes. The blue shapes will just
the subtle movement of the blue shapes.
Get lost with our voices or with something else.
Yeah, it's super chill. So no, thank you all for watching, and one day we'll get there.
See you guys.
Bye-bye,
like,
everybody.
subscribe, follow. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Bye.